NoFap women attraction is real. I am the proof. I started NoFap for the same reason that you started NoFap. I wanted women to like me. Alright, let's just get that out of the way right now. You want women to like you. And guess what? There is absolutely nothing wrong with that. I know that a lot of self-improvement content creators, myself included in the past, tell you that you should do NoFap for you and you alone. But the truth of the matter is that we don't do anything in this life for ourselves and only ourselves. More often than not, whatever we are doing to improve ourselves is done with the subconscious intention of making ourselves more attractive to whoever we're attracted to. In this case, I'm going to assume that it's women because you clicked on this video and you are very likely attracted to women. And I'm no exception to that. I was once in your shoes. At 20 years old, when I started NoFap, I was a virgin, I had never had a girlfriend, and I couldn't even get a girl to go on a fourth date with me. I was getting ghosted left and right, and I couldn't understand for the life of me why this was happening. And so when my friend introduced me to NoFap, and I started doing my own independent research, and I started finding all of these videos promising that women would start staring at me, and women would start to be more attracted to me when I started doing NoFap, I said, I need to give this a shot. And lo and behold, it worked. It worked. After 9 months of NoFap, I got into my first relationship. I lost my virginity shortly thereafter. Even though that relationship didn't end up working out, it gave me enough framework to be able to get into my next relationship because I knew how to navigate the world of women. But unless you have experience with women, you won't know how to do that. So in this video, I want to explain how NoFap will help you get into the door so that you can then get in the room with enough women to be able to navigate those rooms and present your best self to the women that you're attracted to. On that note, the first way that NoFap makes women want you is it makes you a more confident man. Now, why does NoFap make you more confident? And furthermore, why does confidence make you attractive to women? Well, confidence makes you more attractive to women because confidence implies competence. Let me repeat myself just in case you weren't listening. Confidence implies competence. If you are very confident in a certain area of life, or ideally in most or all areas of life, you imply to everyone around you that you are competent in whatever areas you are confident about. And in the world of women, for example, when we talk about sexual market value, when you're confident with women, you're showing women that you are competent with women. Therefore, they will be more attracted to you because they assume that you know enough about women or that you get enough women to be confident, to warrant the confidence that you have. Granted, in reality, you actually don't have a lot of experience with women. Your confidence isn't coming from the fact that you've talked to a lot of women. Your confidence is coming from the fact that you have established trust with yourself. This is why NoFap makes you a more confident person. You become more trustworthy in your own eyes because you can't lie to yourself. I could turn this camera on and sit here and lie to you and tell you that I'm doing NoFap when I'm actually not. I actually prefer to call it no PMO, so for the remainder of this video, I'll call it no PMO. But I could sit here and lie to you and tell you that I'm doing no PMO when I'm actually not. But I actually am. Because if I were to lie to you, I would have to live with not only the fact that I am continuously breaking the promise to myself of doing no PMO, but I would also have to live with the fact that I'm lying to you about it. And that's not something that I myself am willing to live with. Maybe you are, but I'm not. Okay, trust is of utmost importance to me. And I know this because if somebody is not trustworthy in my own life, if somebody else is not trustworthy in my eyes, I eliminate them from my life. The problem is you can't eliminate yourself from your life unless you do that. And I would not recommend that you do that whatsoever. So that leaves you with one other option, which is become a trustworthy person. In other words, become more confident. Whenever you're confident in a certain outcome, because that's all confidence is. You're confident that an outcome will come into fruition. that confidence is always rooted in trust. And trust is always rooted in the fulfillment of previous promises. Let me say that again. Trust is always rooted in the fulfillment of previous promises. In other words, when you make promises to yourself and you keep those promises, you become a more trustworthy person in your own eyes. Because once again, you can't lie to yourself. You always know the truth about you. You know what skeletons are in your closet, and you know if there aren't any skeletons in your closet. And when you can remove those skeletons from your closet and you can become a trustworthy person who keeps the promises that you make to yourself, you will naturally become confident, and confidence tends to spread to all aspects of your life, in all aspects of your psyche. So in other words, if you're confident in the realm of no PMO, you will also be confident in the realm of women, and you will be confident in the realm of business or anything else that you put yourself into wholeheartedly, because you are fulfilling promises that you have made to yourself. Now, back to the point of eliminating those skeletons from your closet, the next reason why it makes you confident is because you eliminate the guilt and shame of this bad habit that you have. The guilt and shame that you have is not so much because of the habit itself, it's more so because of the continuous broken promises that you're making and breaking with and to yourself. Okay, you're breaking all of these promises that you're making to yourself, and that makes you feel guilty and shameful. But there's also an element of guilt and shame from the fact that you're literally releasing your seed to pixels on a screen. Okay, when you're releasing your seed to pixels on a screen, there is a certain level of guilt and shame that will be associated with that, because you know deep down that if those two people, or however many people, I don't know what you're into, if those people on the screen, if those pixels were actually right there in your room, you would not have done what you just did. And so in a sense, you feel like you're stalking them or invading on a private event, because quite frankly, you are. Now, if you're into those sorts of arrangements, then hey, that's cool, but don't indulge to that on a screen, because that is only going to exacerbate the guilt and shame that you already feel from having broken those promises. I'm saying all of this to say that when you start doing no PMO, or NoFap as most like to call it, women will have more respect for you because you have more respect for yourself, but also because you have more respect for women. And that is the next reason why no PMO makes women want you. It makes women want you because you have more respect for women, and they can tell. Now, before you say, well, Jordan, women don't like when I respect them. Whenever I treat them poorly, they treat me better. That's because you're dealing with the wrong types of women. You're dealing with the wrong types of women. You're dealing with these Instagram models, these OnlyFans girls. You're dealing with escorts, or women who really should not be anywhere within your sphere of influence whatsoever. Women that are, as some people like to say, energy vampires. You don't want to associate with those women anyways. Even if they look good, even if they're visually appealing, ultimately you live with their personality, not with their looks. So when you learn to respect women more, you learn to develop a more comprehensive and holistic view of women as a whole. But the first way that no PMO helps you to respect women more is you learn to desexualize your mind. You learn to desexualize your mind, and when you desexualize your mind, what ends up happening is you naturally start to assess women on a more holistic basis. You start to think about things like their personalities. Oh my God, it's so crazy. It's such a crazy concept, but so many men don't take this into account when thinking about who they want to spend their life with. And when I say their life, I don't necessarily mean the rest of their life. I mean their time. And your life is literally comprised of units of time. So when you spend time with these women who don't deserve it, you're basically wasting your life away with these women. So when you desexualize your mind, you're able to take the blinders off and actually see women for what they are. Human beings. Human beings have flaws. They have strengths. They have gifts. They have things that frustrate you. things that bring you joy in times of distress. Ultimately, you have to learn to accept all of those things if you want to be in a relationship. You can't go into a relationship under the premise that you are only going to be with their looks and nothing else. I think this is why most men think that they want a subservient or submissive woman who is unproblematic. Newsflash, everybody is problematic because we all have flaws. But when you desexualize your mind, you're able to see this better because you're able to stop objectifying women. You're able to see them as human beings, and in a sense, your taste becomes more refined. It becomes more holistic. It becomes more comprehensive because it's rooted in awareness. You know that when the urges kick in, you're not thinking about a woman's personality in that exact moment. Maybe when the urges aren't kicking in, you consider women more holistically. But whenever you're indulging in PMO, you're frying your dopamine receptors and you're essentially moving the goalposts of what a desirable woman looks like to you. Eventually, you will start to go for those types of women instead of the types of women that you should be with, which are women who actually have personalities, for one, and women who actually care about you and want to see you succeed and are willing to not only get to the finish line, but run the race with you. And yes, there are women like that out there. And I know this because I found one of them. As a matter of fact, I would go as far as to say that I manifested my girlfriend. And that brings me to the next way that no PMO makes women want you. And that is, it allows you to supercharge your manifestation ability as far as women go. Now, I know what you're thinking. Okay, before you click off of this video, I know that when I say the word manifestation, it triggers your woo-woo alarm. I get it. Okay, it's a very, very abstract theoretical concept with very little practical benefit, unless you understand what it actually is and what it actually means. If you think manifestation is literally sitting in your room and women knocking at your door trying to get to you, then you're wrong. That's not what manifestation is. Granted, I will say I've been in 2 relationships up to this point in my life, and I didn't have to leave my room to get into either relationship. So, just a little side note there. It is possible to get a girlfriend without actually leaving your room. I'm living proof of that. But for the majority of men, including yourself, you're probably going to have to go out. And when you go out after doing no PMO for long enough, you'll start to notice women staring at you. You'll start to notice women giving you choosing signals. In other words, indicating that they're interested in you. Why do you see this? Some would say that it's because women could smell the energy on you or other theoretical and abstract concepts like that. And I don't disagree with those people. However, I want to offer a more logical possibility about why women stare at you when you're on no PMO. You see, it all starts with your reticular activating system. What is your reticular activating system? Your reticular activating system is essentially the pattern recognition software in your brain. In other words, if I tell you right now that I want you to think about a red Honda Civic, the next time you go out, you will see a red Honda Civic and you will remember that I said that you need to be on the lookout for one. That is your reticular activating system at work. In other words, it's not so much that more women are staring at you or giving you choosing signals. It's that you're more aware of the ones that are because you're more present, because you're not constantly in a state of lust and you're not walking around like a zombie because of your fried dopamine receptors. You're actually present and aware, and not only that, but subconsciously you are seeking out a mate much more thoroughly because your biological desire is to reproduce. And if you don't release it on your own accord, you're going to try to find a woman to help you do it. This is simple biology. It's simple science. So, in other words, manifestation in this context, you could see it as you're attracting more women with your energy, and you wouldn't necessarily be wrong. Or you could see it as you are more aware of the women who are already attracted to you because biologically, your body and your mind are looking for it in order to sustain the existence and expansion of humanity as a whole. It's a biological survival mechanism. Either way, the principle remains the same. When you do no PMO, women will become more attracted to you. And I am the proof. And if you do no PMO for long enough, you will be the proof as well. On that note, if you're struggling to do no PMO, if you're not able to build long enough streaks, or even better, turn no PMO into a lifestyle such that you can experience this benefit firsthand, this amazing benefit of being able to find somebody who actually likes you for you, then I want to offer some assistance to you. I recently wrote a short ebook, a 15-minute read at that, about how to recover from a NoFap relapse, a no PMO relapse, that is. If you want to read the book, click the link in the description. It is absolutely free. It takes you maybe 30 seconds to get the ebook. Just go to the website listed in the description, get your free ebook, and take that first step toward being able to find the woman of your dreams.